aspiring engineers, motorsports, automotive engineers, STEAM Sports Foundation scholarship winners, women of color. This is what the Foundation's Immersion Tour Weekend in Charlotte, North Carolina is all about.
Diversity is important in any career, but specifically in motorsports. The reason that I say diversity is because we are looking for diversity of thoughts. Diversity of thought comes from different backgrounds. It can be from where you grew up, where you were born, the people that you work with. And when you have a different, completely background from what we said used to, you bring a different ideas that help us continue growing. All the best teams in life, not only motorsports, but also in corporate America, they are composed of diverse group of people. And that's what we are looking for in our sport.
I think that providing exposure to these minorities, whether it be female or whether it be by race, it's vital for growth in this area. We are looking for people to innovate. We're looking for people to continue to help grow the motorsports industry. And in doing that, we need to make sure that we have a lens on minorities and those who may not feel like they have a place naturally in the industry.
It makes me feel honestly empowered. Like, I love doing things that people don't expect me to do. I grew up in a predominantly white environment, and I bet like no one would expect me to be here right now in Charlotte, or no one would expect me to be at the racetracks yesterday. No one would expect me to be seeking out motorsports. My motto is always be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
The Immersion Tour came into existence because I was visiting Hendrick one day, and I came up here to the GM Tech Center, and I met Tyjon Robinson, who is an engineer for their business side. And I asked her, I said, how did you get into this, and how do I find more people like you?
It was NASCAR race weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Its Roval race would help determine who was going to be NASCAR champion. STEAM Sports Foundation's Immersion Tour Weekend would begin at Trackhouse Racing. Ross Fletcher of Trackhouse Racing shared thoughts about women in motorsports during the students' initial look under the hood at Trackhouse.
The advice I would give to a female that wants to be a part of motorsports and have a career in motorsports would to just be work hard. Work ethic and the ability to be a good team player and work with different types of personalities are the biggest driving factors to success in this sport. Being a female is not a detriment, especially in the engineering world. Different perspectives create wonderful outcomes all the time.
I really enjoy Trackhouse, and I really enjoy their environment. They compared it a lot with sports, and I played sports previously, and it had that competitive aspect to it. So it's high pressure, but it's very rewarding.
Engineers need to know every aspect of what makes the car competitive.
Go.
I love the way Ross explained his position a lot, and I could see myself in that position as well. So I really enjoy Trackhouse.
Then it was on to Hendrick Motorsports, revered as NASCAR's premier race team with 14 NASCAR Series team and drivers' championships and 312 wins. So what have been the keys to Hendrick's success? Alba Colon, Hendrick's longtime senior engineer, welcomed the students to its revered facility.
Think about it. In the past, most of the successful team members in any team, they were all mechanics. There was no engineers or any other professions. Right now, many of the key positions are full of engineers. We are looking at another careers. You always thought that mechanical engineers were perhaps the only engineers that we needed in the sport. Now we have electrical, we have industrial. Now we are looking for data science, computer science, software engineers. So the sport continues growing and needs a diverse group of people. And that's what has made Hendrick Motorsports so successful.
Dinner the first evening at the prestigious and luxurious Charlotte Motor Speedway Club presented even more opportunities to ask questions and hear more about a career as a motorsports engineer. Advent Health's Anna Lohman, representing women in motorsports, was an early pioneer in the industry. She shares what it was like when her career began.
So when I started in this sport 14 years ago, I can count on 2 fingers the women that actually were responsible for making the car go fast.
We are looking for everything, and especially with the STEAM Sports Foundation and the scholarships that have been providing, it gives us an opportunity to see different backgrounds and to see candidates that maybe never thought about motorsports or automotive as a career of choice, and to have them here with us during this weekend and to show with them different teams, but they're also different backgrounds, and for them to learn how we got here, it helps them to make a better decision. At the end of the day, we want to give them an opportunity for them to see that automotive and motorsports is a career where they belong.
The next day started at UNC Charlotte. Its Formula SAE team had placed second in the nation earlier in the year. The student car build and innovative engineering program was fast becoming recognized as one of the top Formula SAE programs in the country. Motorsports professor Tyler Stover explained how STEM innovation and diversity have led to the success of its award-winning student-led team.
Both teams, the internal combustion and the EV team, have NASCAR automotive industry mentors who work with the students, who advise those students. They can bounce ideas off of them, and so they could spend time during their internship bouncing ideas off their boss or off their coworkers. Hey, we want to do this on our formula car. What do you think? We're going for the goal of quality, and so we can't afford to exclude anybody. We got to start with that welcoming attitude. So developing motorsports industry professionals who have already practiced and instilled an inclusive environment is going to be big. So I believe the more we're intentional about that up front now, that pays dividends later on down the line in industry. Yeah.
Right now we have like our senior design team, which is working on the car and the exposition of that we have annually. And so if you're in a concentration of motorsports, you can go and do the car, but also if you're not in a concentration, you can also apply for it and see if you get it. And so right now we have 2 girls on there. I like that just shows that age and like color is not a limit here at the school, because we're more than welcoming to like teach and like help others. I think before coming on this tour, I didn't really know much about motorsports. I think having Alba talk to us really made me more comfortable with asking questions. Seeing a woman in there and seeing of color, like I'm like, okay, we're not alone in this, and it's okay to be vulnerable and it's okay to ask questions, and there's no such thing as a dumb question because everyone's more than happy to explain to you and to teach you about it.
The day was not to be all about lab work, however. After lunch, it was time to hit NASCAR's famous fan village. Cars, and more cars. Fans, souvenirs, even a few surprises. And don't forget the iconic entrance of the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Now it was time for the students to make their grand entrance to the Speedway. There they would meet their pioneer ambassador, GM Motorsports, Tay Robinson.
So my name is Tajon Robinson. I go by Tay. I'm the engineering business manager for General Motors Motorsports. My team is split up into multiple groups. So the engineering side, we have our aerodynamics group, we have tires, we have performance, we got vehicle dynamics, we got our strategy team. And then on the IT side, we have our data analytics team. We got product owners for these different programs and platforms because we support more than just NASCAR. So it's great to get y'all to a NASCAR race, but we could do the same thing at a sports car race or at an IndyCar race because we're supporting those teams too. Diversity will help to mold the future for motorsports, I believe, through allowing people to come from different backgrounds and come with different fresh perspectives, fresh ideas, be able to create new things. We are not doing ourselves a justice by continuing to move the way that we have always done things. It is important for us to innovate. We have to come up with new technologies. We have to be one step ahead, and that is going to require us to have people from different backgrounds with different insights to do so. A typical week is never typical. There are differences every single week. Really, during the week leading up to the race, it's a 7-day development cycle. We are trying to understand what happened at the previous race, how can we improve for that, and then how do we prepare for the next one. Every time we go to a different race, there's a different track, there's a different feel to it, there's different strategies that we have to implement. But it's on us to be able to learn from those continuously. And we do that during the week. Anywhere from meeting with our drivers, understanding post sessions, what's going on, how did you feel, how was our tools for you during that session, and then how can we improve our tools? How do we get the best performance out of this vehicle? What did we learn from here? What did we learn from other series? We're able to go through that cycle within the 7 days, from that checkered flag to the next green flag.
The race was about to begin. Time for the students to settle into their seats along the main straightaway for the waving of the green flag. The sun was beginning to set. Time to head back to the hotel where Tay Robinson and Alba Colon would meet them for a girls' night pizza party. Time to talk. All topics fair game.
One thing that I will recommend to those young ladies that are looking to come to the sport, you are growing up in a time in our lives that is so different from when many of us were growing up. You have access to any technology, you have access to information really quick, something that I didn't have when I was growing up. With that said, you can go to visit in the computer, any social media, and look for information, but also you can come and visit us, you can call us, we can have conference calls with you, and we can discuss more about careers.
Girls' Pizza Night was about to get real interesting as the students asked questions and heard Ty talk about her foray into motorsports, including the challenging parts.
If you don't get anything from me, know that mentors are important. This is a mentor of mine. I'm in a position to make sure that I can open up this door and show you all, hey, when you look at a victory lane picture, look for me, my bright and smiling face, my curly hair, yes, she's there. Just so you know, okay, I see it. You see it, you know that you can do it. If I'm in a place where I am right now, you all can be there too.
I think it's like good knowing like not only are they minority women, but not only are they minorities, but they're also women. Because like it can be intimidating when you know you're going in with a bunch of men. Because a lot of times when you're in a class with men, they're gonna raise their hand and there's just gonna be some type of bond between the professor and them. Like they just have some like unwritten code that they know each other.
Yeah.
But like for us, I feel like there's also an unwritten code that we can be open and speak our mind. Because like a lot of people say there's no dumb questions, but then you ask a dumb question and they're like, that's a dumb question.
Oh yeah.
And so, but now it feels like there really are no dumb questions.
Exactly. In an industry like this and in automotive in general, if you walk in and you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna just stay over here, do my little, and you're not bold or have ambition or desires to grow, people will pick up on that. And if you don't have a desire to grow, people will stop pouring into you. The moral of it is just, you don't stop. You just keep going. Even if it looks like it's an area that does not want you, we don't know the full picture. We don't know the whole story. Like those guys you see out there, they're full-blown athletes, ex-NFL, ex-NBA, like all of that stuff. Never would have known about them. Never would have known how people can get to being a crew chief, how people can get to being a race engineer. Never knew how the business worked behind the scenes, but I was able to get my foot in the door to learn, and now I feel like it's my job to make sure that all of y'all see it too.
Sunday would be the grand finale, a visit and tour of General Motors Motorsports Research Center, opened in 2022. Tay Robinson would meet the entourage.
Yep, that's just an air inlet. Makes sense. But yes. Because a lot of other series have all of their controls on the steering. Yep, and then you can control it from this box. These rule books that tell us, okay, you can make this change, add a flap. How does that impact my air? Is that gonna slow me down? Is that gonna make me faster? I think that providing exposure to these minorities, whether it be female or whether it be by race, it's vital for growth in this area. We are looking for people to innovate. We're looking for people to continue to help grow the motorsports industry. And in doing that, we need to make sure that we have a lens on minorities and those who may not feel like they have a place naturally in the industry.
There was a lot to see at the Tech and Research Center as the students absorbed themselves deeper and deeper into what a career in motorsports could look like. It would be interesting to hear what they felt were the biggest takeaways from the weekend.
My biggest takeaway is how accessible this lifestyle is, and how just seeing women that look like me in these high positions, in these on the tracks, behind the scenes, every little piece that their role makes up, seeing how that's how achievable it is. It's so encouraging.
I feel like my biggest takeaway would be how many people are involved in the race. Initially, when I was first thinking about NASCAR, I was just thinking about, okay, the car and the driver. And I had no idea about like the pit crew and the pit crew stop. So going to Trackhouse and seeing all the people that one person is lifting the car up, one person is, getting the tires ready. That was, really new for me, of how many people are involved just to have a car running.
My biggest takeaway would be the cultural difference in motorsports. Obviously, GM, oversees all these companies and teams like Hendrick, Trackhouse Racing, but every company has a different culture behind it. Hendrick is more competitive, we're number one. Trackhouse has a smaller family environment. And then GM is they seem more open to like have the doors open to people, and they're all working together simultaneously to try to increase diversity. But it would definitely be the culture behind each company and how they work.
So my biggest takeaway this weekend is to basically take any opportunity that I get. I did come here last year, so that's when I was introduced to the world of motorsports. But now that I'm a sophomore and I'm more in a position and more knowledgeable in the fields that I want to work in, I think I should just take that step, and I'm ready to take that step and be brave and apply to be in motorsports, apply to work for teams and things like that.
I would love to seek a position in motorsports. It did open my eyes to a lot and see how much can grow, because I come from a small garage at UGA, so to see everything, those sparkly white floors, seeing them work with the machinery, seeing the environment, I would for sure seek a job in motorsports.
After experiencing this weekend, I'd like to be more involved with automotive and motorsports engineering. I've really loved cars, and at first I thought I would choose something mechanical but not cars. But going to the NASCAR event, looking at the cars, looking at the engines and everything, I've realized that automotive and motorsports is where I want to be.
The tour complete, now it was time to wrap it up. NASCAR's Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion, Brandon Thompson, shared his thoughts on the Foundation's program.
The STEAM Sports Foundation Scholarship Program is a wonderful opportunity for women pursuing engineering careers within motorsports and NASCAR specifically to be able to experience motorsports and to be able to get their start in their career. Well, I think the advice that I would give them and the path would be to continue on their journey, both with STEAM Sports Foundation, but also with the NASCAR Diversity Internship Program, as well as the upcoming NASCAR OEM Fellowship Program.
Next up was STEAM Sports Foundation Executive Director and Founder Bob Dickinson, addressing some of the hurdles of diversity in motorsports.
We wrestle with the messaging. We've heard from a number of people this weekend, if you work hard, if you do your job, if you are a good team member, there's a spot for you here, no matter what sex, race, creed, or color you might be. Well, my question to that response is, if that is true, why don't we see more of the female minorities here? Do you draw the conclusion that they aren't willing to do the job, aren't willing to work hard? I'm not sure that's the case. I think they are willing to work hard, but I think the motorsports industry as a whole needs to be more intentional about finding certain demographics and saying, hey, you are welcome here, and we want you to come show us that you can do this work. So there's an intentionality that I believe a lot of the motorsports industry needs to be a little bit more focused on, because otherwise you can say those things, and then when you don't see any of them around, you just say, oh, obviously that demographic isn't willing to work hard because we don't see them here, if that's the answer. So intentionality, I believe, is really important.
Tate Robinson and Jada Jenkins sum up the weekend.
I encourage young women to become pioneers through leading by example, being a pioneer myself, and sharing my story. I know that it's easier said than done. However, I'm able to share a true, authentic experience and help to prepare them for what's to come.
Minorities and just women in general, for them to see, a black woman in a position that she's in, and even for Alba, a woman of color in the position that she's in these high positions, in these predominantly male, predominantly white environments, that is so encouraging and so important, I believe, to know that it is possible, even though they're one of few right now, who knows what it's going to be like in 5 years.
It's difficult to walk into unknown or untouched territory. It's difficult. However, when you encourage someone to be bold and to go after it, they will be more open and more likely to succeed in that field, just by having a mentality that I can go, I can learn, I can do this. So being a pioneer is not an easy thing, and that's one thing that we have to make sure we're teaching. We're not setting up our incoming generation for failure. We have to be real. We have to tell them the things that we went through. I have to share through my experience and then provide any support that I could possibly do to continue to build up the future generation in motorsports.